Well, when I say the whole One Direction thing hit close to home, there's also another situation.
Mm-hmm.
Your daughter's boyfriend died from an overdose of taking Adderall that was laced with fentanyl.
Yes.
And they found the body in your home?
Yes.
Were you around at the time?
No. I was actually on my way home from Chicago. I had a speaking engagement there. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning, somewhere Chicago time, maybe even a little earlier. And I have Ring on my phone. You know, you get a video when somebody's at your door. So the Ring video comes up, and I see paramedics walking in and out of my house. And I panicked. I said, what happened? You know, somebody got killed? You know, all crazy things started to come through my head because my daughter and my sister were there. And he was living with us because he was from Michigan, and he was living in a guest room of my house because he worked for me. He was doing all my video work on YouTube. And my daughter and him were, you know, planning on getting married. So what happened, I had spoken to him the night before because I was sending him someplace to do some work with our pizza company. And some reason, I don't know why, before he went to bed that night, he took an Adderall, and the Adderall was laced with fentanyl. And somewhere after midnight, he collapsed on the bathroom floor in our home and died. It was my daughter and my wife that found him in the morning, and that's what all that commotion was. And Vlad, I'll tell you, it was one of the most traumatic things, seeing what my daughter went through for 2.5 years after that. And a nice young man. I mean, just a very respectful, you know, young man. We golfed together. I mean, he was just a great kid. And to see that happen was just, it was horrible.
Look, I interviewed 5 people over the years that have died from fentanyl. Coolio, Gangster Boo, Aaron Carter, Mac Miller, and Rich Homie Quan, who was the most recent one. You know, I know some of these names probably don't sound familiar to you. You probably know who Coolio is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Aaron Carter was a big pop star during his day.
Yeah.
I did his last interview before he died. Fentanyl is different than really anything that I've encountered throughout my lifetime.
It's poison.
Yeah. I mean, I had a friend who overdosed and died off cocaine when he was 23. That's why I never touched cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't hear about these mass overdoses like you do these days.
No, not at all.
You know, and what makes it even worse is that when the people die from fentanyl, the drug dealers who sell to them, they get charged with murder. So, one less reason to sell drugs these days. You see what I'm saying? Like, you already had the problem of, you know, you're going to get a 5-10, year sentence for selling a bag of crack, under some of these laws in certain states. But now you got to worry about a murder on top of it? Why even do it?
Money. Why do they do it? You know, listen, I hate, for obvious reasons, I hate anything to do with drugs. And Vlad, I'll say this, and people, oh, Michael, all these people that think they know, that don't know anything, will come back. During my era in that life, we were not allowed to deal with drugs. We were told straight out, you deal with drugs, you die, period.
Right.
And I knew one guy that blew his brains out in a telephone booth because he got involved in a drug deal and was afraid that we were going to walk him in a room and he wasn't going to walk out again. He was one of my guys. Killed himself in a phone booth. I was on a plane heading to Florida when it happened. And
would he have gotten killed?
Quite possibly, yes. Yes. We were not allowed to deal with drugs.
But lots of mafia guys were selling drugs.
Were they doing it on the side, on the down low? Come on, we're criminals.
Yeah, exactly.
The guys are some guys that couldn't earn their scratching a living out, they're going to deal with that stuff. They weren't allowed to, and if they got caught, they could be in severe trouble. And people say, oh, Michael, that's not true. What do you mean it's not true? What was the reason that Gotti acted against Castellano? because I heard that his crew was messing with drugs.
Yeah.
So we weren't allowed to deal with it. We weren't the big drug dealers. The cartels put us to shame. We didn't have anything on that level whatsoever. And me, I would never touch it because I hate anything to do with drugs. Hate it because of what happened with my family.